today. We mahalo our DHHL staff who have labored with care and commitment to prepare for this moment. We lift up our partners who have walked alongside us to strengthen this work and support the lahui. Lord, we especially ask for your blessing upon our beneficiaries, those who are returning to the land and malama it, to grow upon it and to find sustenance in it. May this project be a source of abundance, healing, and legacy for them and their ohana. May the land flourish under their care, and may they feel empowered and equipped in every step of this journey. Bless this meeting, grant us clarity, patience, and unity. Let every conversation be rooted in purpose and aloha. And may everything we do bring honor to you and to our kupuna who dreamed of this day. We humbly lift this prayer to you, Yesu Christo, and together we all say, Amen.
Yeah, we can ipai kolimo for kia kua, mahalo nui, that we are all here. So as we're moving forward, just want to acknowledge and say thank you and mahalo nui, because it really takes a collaborative effort for many, many hands and hearts to come together to move our lahui forward. So we just want to say mahalo nui to Governor Josh Green, as well as Kali Watson, who is not here, but we still want to give honor to where honor is due. So pa'ipai kolima, please. All right. And at this time, we are very honored to have our island commissioner who is here with us and want to share some words with all of us as beneficiaries. Please, a round of applause for Archie Kalepa, our commissioner of Maui.
Aloha mai kako. Good morning, everyone. What a special day. Before I give my speech, I'd like to recognize the staff of Hawaiian Homes. A round of applause for all of our staff that helped make this happen at Hawaiian Homes. I also want to introduce our new district supervisor for Maui, Jermaine. Is Jermaine here? So if ever you get a chance, here she is. I want to introduce you guys to Charmaine Bellino. Thank you. Congratulations. She's our new district supervisor for Maui. So don't be afraid to go into the office and say hi. Aloha Maui. Mahalo to everyone for joining us. It is a true privilege to be with all of you here today. My name is Archie Kalepa. I'm the commissioner for Maui, and I've been on the commission now for about a year. And this position is a position of passion. It's hard work. There's a lot of hard decisions that the commission has to make. But I want all of you to know that this current commission supports the chair, Prince Kohio, and the staff of Hawaiian Homes. And that might be one of the reasons that we're able to push things farther and quicker. So I want to thank you guys. Representatives from the Department of Hawaiian Homes, Lands are here today for all of you, our beneficiaries, to share more about projects, leases, awards for agricultural lands in Waiehu Mauka and Honokōwai. A new approach to gathering leases, to granting leases to our beneficiaries, the highly anticipated awaiting of ag lots on the Valley Isles of Maui, the first in many years. I encourage everyone to tune in, take notes, and ask questions. The department is here to provide you and your ohana with the details you need to make an informed decision. And if this isn't the project for you, not a problem. There's more to come, more on the island of Maui. Residential lots in Leali'i, Waiehu Mauka, Kamalani, and Wailuku. In addition, the department will be awarding scattered lots in Hikina, Pakukalu, and Waiahole. We're moving forward with these projects faster and more efficient than ever before. We owe it to our beneficiaries to do so, as too many of our ohana have been endured generations on the wait list. The Hawaiian Homes Commission supports this endeavor and will continue to seek innovative solutions to make leases, awards to our top priority. The progress that we are seeking in the department is shaped by Prince Honokōwai Waiehu Mauka's vision to rehabilitate and get our people back on the land. We mahalo Kuhio for his bold leadership, unwavering commitment, and foresight. Without him, all of this would not be possible. In closing, if you are interested in a lease for either of these projects discussed today, we hope to see you and celebrate with your ohana when lease awards are offered in the coming months. Remember this. This is your opportunity for Aina. It is your birthright. This is a moment of change. More Hawaiians on our lands for generations to come. Aina, to plant your dreams, grow new roots, and live your legacy. Our homesteads are the cornerstones of our communities, and our beneficiaries are its leaders. Healthy, thriving homesteads are what our lahui needs. And the opportunity to be a part of that change starts with you, your decisions today. Mahalo nui loa and malama pono. Thank you.
Mahalo, Archie, Commissioner Kalepa, appreciate you being here. And so going forward, this is going to be our agenda. So I kalamai. So by the end, we want everyone to stay and to ensure that when you leave, you have the answers that you came to have your questions answered, kalamai. Yeah, so we had our pule and an introduction, Commissioner Kalepa. And our 2025 project leases, our Maui cultural projects, 2026 project leases, future agriculture projects, our successorship and transfer, critical information that we need on that. NAHA-SDA selection process and lease signing. Please, number 10 is the open house. The open house is our opportunity to get answers if we have questions. So during this time, write all your questions down, and this is where we start asking all of our questions to receive these answers that we need as beneficiaries, because like what Commissioner Kalepa said, it is our birthright. So again, welcome to all of us here and those who are online. Take all the notes that you need and write down all your questions, because this is a great time to get all the answers that we need. So without any further ado, our next speaker, he came and offered our pule. So Kalani Franda, who is our acting administrator for the Department of Hawaiian Homelands Development Division.
Mahalo makalapua. Next slide, please. So one of the big things just want to highlight this real quick. It really takes a village. It takes all of us to be able to make things happen. I want to say mahalo to our partners that are to my right and those that are coming onside us to be able to make sure that we can be able to deliver Aina with its infrastructure. I want to also say a big mahalo to the mayor and his departments. They have really stepped up to the plate and try to find ways to make this happen for us, for our beneficiaries. And we know that as it benefits us, it also benefits the overall county of Maui Nui and be able to help move forward a lot of the initiatives on providing access to our Aina. So it really takes a lot of voices. And as you get these leases, if we could also ask that when we go before the legislature to request monies for some of these specific projects, that your voices are also heard by our elected officials, especially those that represent the area that you have a lease in. So just wanted to put that forth. Next slide, please. I have the privilege of sharing with you the project areas that are coming up specifically for this project offering. And so there are two, Honokōwai and Waiehu Mauka. Next slide, please. This next slide will give you a kind of rough end, and then I'll go into the next one of how many lots. So on phase one, we have 50 lots, and I'll stay here for a little while. You can take a picture of me as well. No, I'm just kidding. Take a picture of that. So phase one is what we're working on. This includes a number of different things that are required in order for us to deliver it. So we are anticipating roughly about, seems like a couple years away, probably about 2027, 2028, that we can actually start to do the lot selection. And the reason for that is if you try to drive up there right now, there's a road, but we haven't done kind of the plotting and separating the lots, providing access of water. We're working with the county on that as well. Different types of water and quality water, you know, combination of R1, surface, as well as potable, kind of working through that. We also have some other processes that we need to go through. Not sure if you guys realize, but sometimes it even requires a lot of the cultural surveys to be done. So that takes some time to go through it. And that's the reason why 2027, 2028 is the projected time that we would actually come back and start to do the actual lot offering for these areas. I will talk a little bit about the next phase on what's coming forth afterwards for Honokōwai in a little while, in a couple more slides. Next slide, please. So this is Waiehu Mauka. These two projects are two projects that we've identified funding that will come from the Act 279, the 600 million. We have some of monies that are allocated for these particular projects. It also requires additional monies from federal government. And as you've probably seen in the news, federal government is going through a process. And so some of the funding has slowed down. That doesn't stop us. We're going to find ways to find funding from elsewhere. Not selling pizzas or car washes, but just elsewhere, other ways that we can be able to do that. And once again, the County of Maui has been very instrumental in being able to do that. So when we go through and do things with them, we're looking at shared infrastructure. Will benefit first and foremost our beneficiaries, and secondary, we don't have the capacity to be able to have the necessary staffing to be able to manage these facilities. So manage the sewer lines, manage the water. So we build it to county standards. And so we can turn it over because they have a public works department, and they have those types of departments that can actually manage it because they have the ike, they have the resources, and they have the manpower. Next slide, please. So this will give you a brief overlay. You're going to see more coming up at the end of this year when we do project leases for the residential projects that we have on the island of Maui. The yellow portions are the areas that we've identified as farm lots. The agricultural lots in Honokōwai in West Maui, roughly 1 to 2 acres. This one is probably like half acre, 1 acre, more half acre ones. And this one is roughly about 55 lots that we will have available. And the project leases that we're doing, not sure if you heard kind of the nexus of it. And so the reason for the project lease is in the event as we're preparing and going through getting it ready for lot selection, we want to make sure that your 50% family member has the access to this INA. We want to be able to make sure you lock that in now instead of, and call me for bringing it up, but it is reality, dying on the list. We don't want that to happen. And so we're issuing out these project leases. And now you'll hear a little bit more later what the benefits of having that project lease in your ohana is. But going back to this, roughly about 55 lots that we will have available. Lots of work to be done. There's a lot of work that is done not only on this site, but off-site in order for this area to actually receive water, power, access, and then also moving the wastewater off this property when we generate it on there, if you know what I mean. Next slide, please. So guess what? We're doing 50 in Honokōwai, 55 Waiehu Mauka this year. Next year, we're going to come back. We talked with the planning department and we said, hey, let's shake it up a little bit and let's get more project leases. So I'm going to go into what's going to be offered as far as project leases next year. Next slide, please. Hana. There's quite a bit on this area. Just showing it to you, not making any promises. But I want to say we're going to go out next year with roughly about 250 project leases. And it'll include these projects that I'm sharing with you. Next slide, please. The next one is Pulehunui. There's a lot of infrastructure, a lot of work that we're doing with other governmental agencies. It's something that we have been in discussion for a long time. And we know that we really got to move forward on it. But we have roughly about 100 lots in this area. Once again, about 1 to 2 acres. Next slide, please. And going back to Honokōwai, and this one is phase 2. And so I pause here, a quick one, because we don't have many areas that we issue out lots that is a whole master plan from residential to commercial to agriculture to conservation. Honokōwai has it all. But not only does it have it all, it requires a lot to actually be able to develop this area. So we're starting off with the land that gets us on the land first and be able to grow and be able to do stuff with it. And so that's why we're moving forward first with phase 1 agriculture. We'll move next with phase 2 agriculture. Eventually, you'll see some of the other projects come forward in Honokōwai, including residential and commercial areas. And with that, I'm going to pass it on back to Makalapua. Mahalo for allowing me the opportunity to share with you projects that are happening on DHHL.
Okay, mahalo Kalani for all that information. And I know I'm looking at everybody right now and they're going, wow, that's plenty. Okay, just so that we know, this meeting is being recorded. And you can find this meeting on the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's YouTube channel. So please, yeah, we don't need to get stressed out, because if you want to refer back, it will be available for you to review on YouTube, Department of Hawaiian Homeland's site. So at this time, we have these two wonderful ladies, got a lot more information for all of us. Julie Cachola from Department of Hawaiian Homeland, Senior Planner, as well as Lehu Abrigo, Department of Hawaiian Homeland's Agriculture Programs Specialist. Pa'ipa'i kolima ohana.
Aloha, everyone. Oh, thank you. I know I'm so short.
You gotta go stand in front, you.
Oh, Oh, I gotta hold it too.
Go stand right over there.
Oh my goodness, how it is.
You can do it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julie Cachola. I'm a planner with DHHL. I've been doing this for a long time. Today, I'm going to pull in the content of agriculture because that's what, you've heard about our leases, but I want to pull in agriculture because that's the basis of what this is all about. Who's gonna forward for me? Okay. So why agriculture? As you know, agriculture, it was the premise of the act. It was what it was based on. And if you take, just to put the context here, so our Prince Kuhio, who thought he was going to be the next king at 18, or was it 18 years old, they overthrew the government, and he was like, what am I going to do now? But he was still trying to help the people. So he saw these people dying, right? The population was going downhill fast. And he sent his leaders on and said, what's going on? Why are people dying? Why so many? And what they found was because they were being taken away from the land. They were being taken away from their water, from their lo'i, going into these urban slums, basically. So right there, he figured out that the key was to put them back on the land, right? That was the solution, to put them back to the land. So he had to find land. And it's like people, we're so generous, yeah? So people are giving away the land. They didn't understand the private property. So he said, this land has to be in perpetuity forever. It has to stay intact. And that's what he did. And he spent like years going, can you imagine not catching a plane, but going on a boat to DC, having to do this? He didn't even have a vote. He was a non-voting member. So against all odds, all these interests, he got the act passed. And he died 6 months after that. So the act is really a gift from our Prince Kuhio. He believed that if he put us back on the land, it's in our DNA, that we would know what it would activate, right? Rehabilitation occur. It would come back to us. Our connection to Aina, right? Agriculture's connection to Aina, a connection to water. It's how we connect to each other, right? It's about economy. So really agriculture is the central point of all of that rehabilitation, prosperity, right? Wealth. We have the right to water. Do you guys know that? We have like one right to water. But guess what? Only if we're going to use it. Only if we're going to use it. So agriculture is that nexus to be able to connect to water as well. So there's a really lot of good reasons why agriculture. So what the act does is create a land base of over 200,000 acres of land in perpetuity for Hawaiians. So I want you to imagine when you get your project leases, you are stepping up to the plate, man. You are now a caretaker of this trust. That is your kuleana when you accept that lease. And the agriculture lease is a little different. Like it's not a house that you can just be in, exist in. The agriculture lease means that you're gonna put your heart and soul into the land. That you're gonna cultivate something. You're gonna create something. That's your creation. That's your kuleana as you step up to this plate to be this caretaker of this trust that's gonna be forever and for your family legacy. That's the kind of kuleana you're accepting when you look at ag. Do you want to build a house? Can you build a house? Yes, but ag is what you need to focus on, right? The cultivation. I want you to imagine yourself, like, mango season, we just had mango season, and I've been getting a lot of mangoes, right? And I just love it because people are producing so much that they have to give it away. That's what the image I want you to think about yourself when you're on this land, doing your kuleana in this trust at this time, at this place, right? That's going to be you. in Maui, doing agriculture on lands that are going to be here forever for Hawaiians. What's your mark going to be? What are you going to do? Whatever you do is going to be important. It's going to have an impact on the land. It's going to have an impact on the people, right? Now and in the future, right? So imagine yourself producing so much that you got to give it away. Give it away. Every time you come, you're giving away something because, oh, I got so much. What am I going to do with this? That's why ag. That's why ag. Resilience, sustainability, food security. This is about how we used to live, but how we've gotten so far away from it that we got to put it back on the board as if like we need to pay attention to this, right? This is natural. This is how we lived. But we got to bring it back to the forefront now because we've strayed from this. So this is, again, opportunity to make this case, to show this, to demonstrate this for yourself and for everyone else. Okay. Let me see. Did I want to say anything else? No. Okay. So I was taking a poll to find out how long you guys have been waiting on the ag wait list. So a long time. And so I need to explain something to you because when you first got on the list, you thought you were signing up for an ag lease. And at that time, the ag lease, it had requirements. You had to do a business plan to get the lease. You had to show that you had some kind of background in ag. You had to cultivate 2/3 of your land. You had to demonstrate that these were conditions of the lease. And it was large area to where like people weren't even seeing the last acre of their lot because it's so big. So reality check, rolling it back. In 2017, we changed our rules. So you might have missed that. So I want to explain to you what the new subsistence ag lease is about. So first of all, we're not doing the 40 acres. It's under 3 acres or less, more manageable, more people can benefit, right? I should be looking at the slides when I'm talking to you. The farm plan is not required and the 2/3 cultivation is not required, right? So we have pastoral leases, right? That is about animals. And we had agricultural leases that is about plants, but the two never crossed. Subsistence ag allows you to do the two. So you can have the chickens, you can, so you can do the animal part and the plant part on your lot. That subsistence allows that connection as a kind of farm system, how you're going to manage your farm system. So the plants and animals. And like I said, you are not required to build a house, but you can. But your kuleana is to cultivate the land, to make that land flourish. So that's a difference. It's a much more manageable lease, actually. And when we're giving it out, now we have plenty neighbors. So you can build your community of interdependence and work together, right? So, let's see. Yeah, so just more on the ag, subsistence ag lease is basically, to grow food for your home, first of all. And I love this, the agriculture focus is what does your family like to eat? What do you like to eat? It's not what's gonna make money. It's not like what the market will bear. It's like, what do we like to eat? Let's start there. So a little different focus, right? Smaller area, it's aesthetics. Do I need to bulldoze my whole lot flat? It's like, why don't we try working with the land flow? Try and work with the land instead of having to just bulldoze it straight. So because and I said that there was integrated with animals, it's minimal capital. You can do it with your hand tools, but this is where you're gonna get your family and friends to come help out too, right? You can do a house, you can do mobile, trailer, dwelling. And here's the thing, if you happen to be really successful in your lot, you got 3 acres and you're maxed out and you're just flourishing and you want to do more because you're being successful, you actually can come to the department and say, look, I'm doing good. I need more land because I want to expand my farm. What I did here in my 3 acres, I want to expand, and I can. So you can petition the department for supplemental agricultural land. And that's when you're going to need a business plan because you're telling us you know what you're doing, right? But it allows you to expand out of the 3 acres. Don't feel like you're limited to that. If you can max that out and you really get into this flow where you know what you're doing and you're going to make a go of it, you can get for supplemental ag land. So in sum, basically what we want to do with agriculture is to create successful farmers or just cultivate, bring the land to fruition, cultivate the land, let it grow. Agriculture has a link to health and like that, I said, surplus food, the surplus, so much food you're producing and visualize it, so much food that you got to give it away, right? It's of course a way for us to connect back to Aina, activate that DNA in us that is part of what we are because we are of this place in this land. There's also new stuff happening with ag, right? Regenerative agriculture, what is that? It's like using carbon that's in the air, taking it, putting it in the land so it can actually support the agriculture. If we leave it in the air, then it's pollution, right? Then there's all these innovative, integrated ways to work now that makes a lot of sense. And you can innovate. You can do these kinds of things. And the reason why too is because we have all these resources. We have these people, these agencies wanting to help us out. That's why they're here today. I want to say that you don't have to wait for your lease to access their programs and services. They're here today and they're going to provide services to you as somebody lives in Maui. You don't have to have a lease to go to see them, to get their assistance. And imagine that when you do get your land, like you're going to hit the ground running, right? It's kind of like you're going to get the land and then now you're going to think about it. It's like, use this time. Use this time to get your ohana together, to think about it, to develop your plan. Just draw one rectangle, like how are we going to lay things out? What's going to go first? What's going to go second? How do we do this? And utilize the resources that are here. And this is just some. And you see how eager, have you talked to them? They're really eager to help. I love it. So the other thing is that because we want to help our farmers, we made this deal with CTAR. CTAR is the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human, they changed it from resources to human resilience. That's their name now, CTAR. And they have ag extension agents, and they do workshops, and they kind of go out to the farmer's land and they check it out. What's the situation? Well, we pay for a full-time person under this program to help our farmers. We pay their salary. We were doing this in Big Island, and we're doing this in Molokai. Only recently have we done it for Maui. Only recently we have a DHHL agent in CTAR from Maui. And she's really good. She's really creative. Unfortunately, her daughter she had her first grandchild, so she is not here today because she went to go see her daughter. But she's got really good ideas. And Keokea people, our ag lessees, speak very highly of the kind of workshops that she conducts. So this is your full-time worker. This is your hotline you can call anytime, right? That's what she's there for, to help you. Now check this out. Because she's in CTAR, she has access to that whole network. She can go call Professor X, Professor Y, and say, hey, we got a problem. What do you think? So she can draw in those resources of the whole UH system and CSTAR system to help you. She's our point. Okay, so and we'll hear more about it. I want to be able to let you meet our new agricultural program specialist. Let me say first time agriculture program specialist. She's been on the job for 3 months. So give her support and aloha. This is Lehua Abrigo, who is a homesteader in Maluohai.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha mai kako. Can you tell how excited Julie is to have you guys on the land? Thank you. I just want to share about some resources, and Julie talked a lot about some of them already, especially CTAR. But I did at least want to share that Gwen Morinaga Kama is the extension agent here on Maui. And I apologize, she's actually at the Kula Ag station. But her email is correct, and she is so excited and looking forward to meeting you all at the September Project Lease Awards. Ready to help you out, as Julie explained, with some of the work she's been doing with the Keokea homesteaders, some amazing stuff. Together with Gwen, DHHL is working to create a series of workshops designed to help you be successful. That's what we want. We want to start you off on your cultivation journey and want you and your ohana to be successful farmers. So I know you've seen some of the resources here. When we have those project lease awards in September, we're going to have a table set up. We'd like you to stop by, give us your contact information so we can be able to share about the workshops that are coming up. And while you won't need to create a farm plan, as Julie explained, a plot plan would be something helpful. And that's something that Gwen would be able to help with, designing where you should place your home on your lot. How do you address water flow on your property? If you're going to have livestock and trees, where do you place those so it works well? So we'll be designing at least 3 workshops, and they'll be different, unique to Honokōwai and Waiehu Mauka, as you know, different environmental conditions. And I think that's about it. Oh, one other thing about Gwen. One of the most valuable resources that she's able to offer is one-on-one consultations, specifically to meet you where you're at. Questions you have, she can come out to your lot and walk you through whatever issues you may have. So in addition to CTAR, we have some amazing resources that are with us here today. I'd like to introduce the County of Maui Department of Agriculture Director, Kali Ars, to explain about her program.
Aloha kako, everyone. Good morning. I'm Kali RC. I'm also a Molokai Ho'olehua homesteader, ag lessee. Our family has pigs and cattle and vegetables. My husband's family was one of the anchor farmers on Molokai. I also am a former Molokai CTAR extension agent that she explained about on Molokai, and I developed the new farmer program. So I believe that our department in the County of Maui has tremendous capacity to serve our Maui community. We're the first county level Department of Agriculture in the state of Hawaii, and we're super proud about that. We're setting the bar high and creating the standard for other counties to follow if they choose to do so. So I really hope you take advantage of our resources. The mission of our department is to support the development and continued management of a sustainable regional agriculture system for Maui County to promote resident and ecosystem health and well-being and create a thriving circular agroeconomic system that can be a model for the rest of the world. As founding director, along with my deputy director, Koa Heveheva, my role is to develop the organizational structure and capacity of the department. Starting out as a department of 2 in 2022, myself and deputy director, there are now 12 of us, and we have 4 divisions. We have a food security division staffed with Lauren Nelson. She was here earlier. That division will help our communities create access to locally grown food in our near to your communities, establish farm stands, farmers markets, food hubs, community kitchens, and coordinate food security and food safety programs. We also have this awesome food plan, and we'll be happy to mail it to you. There are over 900 community members that participated in giving input. And what we're looking at is to help to get community to assist our agencies that are contributing to meeting the objectives in the farm and security food plan. So please request one and look and see where you can play a role in contributing to developing the food system in your community. We have a grants division. We provide small funding opportunities for agriculture. We have many different buckets. We also have only for Lanai, only for Molokai, and there's a lot. You got to contact Anna in our department, and we have information on the table with her card. We have a ag advocacy division, and we work with farmers to push policy and to change ordinances, amend language in our Maui County Code, to support agriculture issues. And we also have an ag ops division who are staffed at our 445 Kula Ag Park. The department manages the Ag Park program. And currently we just have one park. It has 31 lots of 10 to 30 acres. And we're working towards building a new 2.4 million gallon reservoir, which will serve the future 445 acre Upper Maui Ag Park that I'm currently working to build, which will allow 20 small size lots of 5 to 15 acres for organic ag production. And soon we'll have an ag conservation arm, and that division will provide resources for our community to set up land management strategies and promote sustainable agriculture. So we've been working really hard. I'm really proud of our team. And I would also encourage you to come and pick up the Maui County Ag directory. And if we run out, we'll be able to send you one. And these 2 resources are available online as well. Feel free to come by and talk Starry. We can point you in other directions to other resources that we know. Be glad to help you. Mahalo.
Callie, mahalo nui for sharing. Callie, Lehua, as well as Julie. Oh, 2 more people. Okay. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
This is La'akea Low. He's a soil conservationist with USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service here in Kahului.
Aloha mai kākou. O La'akea Low ko inoa, no mahua mai au, no ka ua o ukiu. Just want to mahalo. First of all, Cupid kalani ana ole for establishing his legacy. Everyone at DHHL for supporting and administering that legacy. I want to thank everyone at Maui for hosting us and allowing us this space today. And of course, mahalo to each and every one of you beneficiaries here today and virtually. So I'm with the U.S. Department of Ag Natural Resources Conservation Service. I serve as a soil conservationist there. And so what we do is we help with planning and funding of ag projects, including farming, ranching, forestry projects. And so we offer cost share programs. And so what that is kind of like we pay some and you pay some. So we address resource concerns that might include like soil erosion or wind damage. Maybe you need fencing for your livestock or to protect your plants. We also offer like hoop houses for growing crops. We have a whole suite of practices that can help with your ag operations. A couple of requirements we have is that we work with lessees and owners. So if you own or lease land, we can help you. I think a couple of requirements specific to DHHL is that they do have to sign off on each project. We call that landowner concurrence. And I believe that the lease holder, it would be the applicant in this case. And so that's a picture of our office there. We're right across from Target and Jen Korean barbecue. You can visit us anytime. Jason Hugh is the supervisor at our office. He couldn't be here today. There's my contact below. And visit our website for more information. Mahalo.
And last, we have Darren Vanderplas. He's the manager of farm loan programs with USDA Farm Service Agency. They also have a Maui County team.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you for inviting us to be here to demonstrate what our resources are that are available. Thank you to Lehua for inviting us. And thank you to all of you first. I manage the loan program for Maui County for the Farm Service Agency. There are over 2,000 Farm Service Agency offices in the United States, and we are in the same service center as La'akea and the NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service. The two parts of our loan, or two parts of our office, are farm loans and farm programs for disaster assistance. For our farm loan program, we work with any size of farm, whether it's a homestead lot or a larger ag parcel. The qualifications for a loan program would be some of your operation is commercial and some of it could be for subsistence, as long as some of it is for commercial sales of crops and livestock. So we have direct loans where you apply through our office. The smaller loans, $50,000 or less, are for starting your farm. It could be for fencing, machinery, equipment, livestock, seedlings, seeds, labor, almost anything. The larger loans are for when you're deciding to expand your farm. Again, the size of the lot doesn't matter for our program. We have a variety of different ways we can support you. Our interest rates are subsidized, and so they're lower than market rates. In July, the interest rates for operating loans are 5%, and they're fixed for the life of the loan. The larger loans for real estate, we can do small construction projects. It's 5.875 fixed. And then we also have a youth loan program. We're the only lender who can make a loan to a 10-year-old up to 20 years old. And their parents don't have to sign off on the promissory note. So if your keiki are interested in a small 4-H project, or they're involved in an organization to maybe raise a hog or a steer or grow some crops, we have loans for the youth. I just want to say that Molokai actually leads the state for the number of youth loans that they have. Right now, we have about 15 keiki on Molokai that we work with who are homesteaders to raise steers and hogs. We also have disaster assistance programs. livestock forage for pasture and ranching, emergency conservation programs, and NAP for other crops that cannot be insured. And we have marketing assistance and reimbursement programs for shipping costs for farms. So we have a variety of different ways to support you and help you be successful. These are the contact information for our local team. We often work with La'akea and the Maui County Department of Ag for their grant and reimbursement programs. So if you need capital upfront to buy a piece of machinery or other infrastructure or whatever you're doing on your farm and you have a grant that needs you to provide the funding upfront, we can make a loan for that funding. And when you finish the project and the grant is reimbursing you, then that money can go back to pay the loan. So we often do that with these programs. Again, thank you for having us here and feel free to stop by.
Mahalo nui. Thank you so much. And I know that's a lot of information, just so that we all know, those of us who are online as well, is that this is recorded, so you can actually go back in the YouTube channel of the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. So the next subject is successorship and transfer. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Juan Garcia, who is the Administrator, Homestead Services Division.
Thank you. Aloha, everyone. My topic, as noted, is successorship of your application right as well as your lease. Successorship is the transfer of your interest as an applicant or a lessee upon your death. As an applicant, you can only transfer that interest to that qualified relative upon your death. Unlike a lease, you can transfer your interest while you're still alive. So my presentation will look at some of the similarities, but there are some differences between the successorship of an applicant and the successorship of a lessee. So again, successorship is the transfer of that interest upon death. As an applicant, you can only transfer that interest upon your death. On the board is those qualified relatives that must be at least 18 years of age and 50% Hawaiian. You can name any one of those relatives, can only be one. If you fail to designate a successor prior to your death, the department is mandated to publish a notice in the general papers, newspapers that's circulated throughout the state. And we usually do this once a year. Typically it's in November. And you have 180 days as one of those relatives who is at least 18 years of age, 50% Hawaiian, 180 days from the last publication. So that's very important. If the applicant fails to designate a successor, you, as that qualified relative, must submit that claim within 180 days. Once that 180 days expire, basically the doors are closed. You cannot further submit a claim. If you could go back to the previous slide. The purpose of this slide is priority. If you do not designate a successor as an applicant, the claimants are placed in priority. The spouse of the deceased applicant has the highest priority. So if a spouse submits a claim, that spouse is qualified, even if there's children or siblings, they're lower. So that spouse will take over that application right. So spouse has top priority, then a child, then grandchild, and all the other relatives are equal. So let's just say the father, the mother, brother and sister, all those other relatives submit claims. Because only one can qualify or one can succeed, we leave it up to the family to decide. And hopefully there'll be mutual consent, mutual agreement as to who will succeed. Again, the important thing with applications or applicants is you must die before that transfer of interest can take place. Leases are different. And pay attention now, if you're lucky, you're fortunate to receive one of these sub-ags, either in Waiehu Mauka or Honokōwai, you can then designate that qualified relative who is 25%. So 50%, it decreases to 25%. And those are the spouse, wife, husband or wife, the child, grandchild, or sibling. All those other relatives noted on the bottom has to be 50%. So there's that difference. As an applicant, your qualified successor has to be 50. And that's one of the big benefits of receiving this project lease. Those of you who have 50% Hawaiian, you're on the list, and you married a non-Hawaiian, your children is only 25. So if you receive that project lease, you can then designate those children at 25%, your spouse, grandchild, or your siblings. Again, we highly encourage you to file that designation. When's the best time to do that? You should have done that yesterday as if you're an applicant. When you receive that project lease award, you should do that immediately. Again, if you fail to do so, the department is mandated to publish a notice in the paper calling all those qualified relatives to submit a claim. Once that publication is out there, those qualified relatives have 120 days from the first publication. So there's that difference between applicants and lessees. As you recall, on the application side, it was 180 days from the last publication. On the lessee side, it's 120 days from the first publication. So the window is smaller. Yeah, so it's important when you know the the person is deceased, the publication, you look out for that publication. Like I said, applications is usually in November. On the lessee side, first publication is typically in June and then again in December. Next slide, please. Okay, that was successorship, right? You can name a qualified successor to your interest as an applicant or a lessee so that when you pass on, it's transferred over to that individual upon your death. Remember, as an applicant, the only way it's going to be done is if you pass away. Another benefit of being a lessee is you can transfer your lease while you're still alive. You can designate your successor, but you can also pass it on to anybody who's 50% or those relatives that you can designate as at 25%. You can also transfer your interest while you're still alive. Now, things to remember, you are the one that make that choice. You decide who you want to designate. But we encourage you to have a at the table, whether you have beer or not, talk at the table, but let everybody know what your intentions are. We've seen too many times that there's pilikea that take place after death because mom never tell me that. She told me this. So it's clear when mom or dad passes away, everybody's clear as to who the designated successor was. So have that serious discussion with family. Again, we have Jermaine. You've been introduced to Jermaine, the new district supervisor here in Maui. We got Charisse and Cinda, who are the homestead assistants that help service you as an applicant or a lessee. So make an appointment. If you haven't designated a successor as an applicant, do so. It's not too late, but better sooner than later. All right, you got any questions? We'll be back on that table during the open house. Aloha and mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Thank you, Juan. Again, a lot of great information. But at this time, we have our last speaker. Yes. So this is our lease signing. Very important. So please, Pa'ipa'i ko lima Michelle Heitzman. She's our branch manager, housing project branch.
Aloha. So I'm going to go over the NAHASDA financing. Ann Aorona, who is the NAHASDA mortgage loan specialist, was unable to make it today. So I'm just going to go over some information about, again, our NAHASDA financing. But I just want to share that this is for home construction. Now, we're offering sub-ag, and residence is not a requirement on sub-ag lots. However, it is an option, and this type of financing is probably one of our best, probably is one of the best loan product that is around today, right? So again, this is just some information for you all to think about if constructing a home on your ag lot is something you want to do when we start offering the lots in the future. So again, NAHASDA, what is that? It stands for the Native American Housing Assistance and Self-Determination Act, which was passed by Congress in 1996 and amended in 2000 to add Native Hawaiians. So it's only been about, 25 years since this product has been Hawaiians. DHHL is the only designated recipient for the Native Hawaiian Housing Block Grant that is administered by HUD. So again, NAHASDA financing, the department is the only recipient that has these types of funds. And the federal funds, what is it used for? Lot development, homeowner financing, housing counseling, and other housing services. Next, please. So there is a requirement, right? So it's not available for everyone. This program, you must meet your household income, total household income, meaning everyone that's gonna live in the house. Your income has to be at or below 80% of the area median income for that particular county, right? Because the AMI varies from county to county. You have to submit income and financial documentation. You'll have to go through housing counseling. Your house size is dependent on your household number. So for example, if you're a household of 2, but you qualify for $800,000, for example, you would still be only allowed to build maybe a 2-bedroom, right? Because it's based on your household size. We have compliance with environmental requirements, so they have to do an environmental review on the land, and there's an affordability restriction, and you must have adequate insurance coverage. Next, please. So this is a chart. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, just to kind of share with you the difference in what NAHASDA offers versus some of the other loans, USDA, FHA. So I'm sure maybe we can get that on the website that you guys can look over it at a later date. Okay, next, please. And here's just an example of one of the families that benefited from our NAHASDA financing. So this is Charlene Rodriguez. She's in our Honokōwai subdivision on Oahu. She partnered with Habitat for Humanity. She received her keys on June 21st, 2024, and her monthly mortgage is just over $800 a month. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she built a two-bedroom home. So at 800 a month, that's an awesome mortgage. Next, please. So again, to share NAHASDA financing, we'll have more information. The staff will be there once we start offering the lots, right? So I think Kalani mentioned maybe like 2027, 2028, staff will be there. Residence is not a requirement on sub-A, right? It's an option. So again, this is just information for you guys for the future. So I'm going to go through and I apologize, it should say project selection process and lease signing, because again, we're not selecting lots yet. You're just selecting between the two projects that's available, Honokōwai and Waiehu Mauka. Okay, next, please. So again, we talked about a lot of information. You guys heard about ag, some of the things you can do on the land. We talked about financing, successorship. So I want to share about what are we actually offering, right? Come September 20th, what are you guys getting? So what we're offering is a project lease, right? So it's a project lease opportunity in either Honokōwai or Waiehu Mauka. Now, what exactly is a project lease? Project lease is a paper lease, right? So it grants you an undivided interest in an area or a subdivision, right? So you have an interest in that area. It allows you to designate your successor or transfer your lease to an eligible 25% successor. So basically what Juan went through, right? Applicant, 50% successor. Once you get the lease, you can designate a 25% successor. So that's one of the greatest benefits of having this paper lease. It allows you some time to meet your financial or program requirements. So I believe we talked about possibly making workshops, right? Going through some agricultural workshops to learn more about the use of your land. That may be a requirement. And it's, again, we'll talk about that in the future when we're ready to offer the lots. And then again, you will not be selecting a specific lot on September 20th. All you have to determine is whether you want an ag lot in Honokōwai or Waiehu Mauka. Those are your two choices, right? And so what are the offer requirements? For the project lease, there's just one. And it's that yellow form that is on the back DHL table. It's your interested form. You just need to check that you're interested. Turn in that form by the deadline, I believe it's August 18th. So you just say you're interested, submit it, you'll get an invite to the project selection meeting. We had a couple of questions that asked about your option, right? Because we said pick one, your priority. Do you want Honokōwai? You want Waiehu Mauka? That was just data collection for us. We just wanted to know what areas you guys were interested in. You're not tied to it, right? So if you said you wanted Honokōwai, but that day you changed to Waiehu Mauka, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't need to submit another response form. The main thing is that you actually submitted the response form, the interested response form, by August 18th. So I'll probably say this date over and over again throughout my presentation, because for us, it's easier for us to resolve the situation of you all submitting your response form by the date than after the fact, right? So if you call us after the fact and you want to submit, deadline has already passed. Right? So if you're concerned that, okay, did I submit it? Did they receive it? Please give us a call. Because again, it's easier for us to just say, hey, submit another one than to try and go back and get you into the mix, right? So the day on September 20th, what's going to happen? Again, so project selection is September 20th, again, a Saturday. We're probably going to start about 9:30. It may be a long day, because we are doing actual lease signing that day. You will select your project, you will sign your lease, and you can designate a successor that day. So be prepared that you may be here the whole day. And it is by invitation only. Once the deadline passed, right, August 18th, it'll probably take us about a week or so, because there may be some postmark that, some responses coming in later. We're going to send out the project selection invitation letter, again, only to those who submitted their interested forms. Location will be back here, but we'll have more information on that on the letter. And the selection process, we will call the names in rank order by your date of application, right? So that is for this particular offer. Again, submit your interested forms based on date of application. We will call. Please don't be discouraged, right? We invited about 1,000 people to participate in this offer. We have 105 lots, or excuse me, leases available to issue. Now, if you happen to see your rank number and you go, oh my gosh, I'm 850, there's no way I'm gonna get it. Don't be discouraged, right? Because this happened in some of our other offers, right? We had applicants call us later. You know, I was 2,000 and you only had 600 leases. Well, you know what? We actually got past 2,000. So don't be discouraged. I mean, if you show up and unfortunately we don't get to your application, we have a lot more coming up in the future. So I just don't want you guys to pass up on an opportunity because of a number, right? You guys felt there's no way we're gonna get to you all. So, and if you guys have any questions, give us a call, please. Okay, next, please. So requirements. Orientation meeting, it's not mandatory, right? You can come in person, you can watch online, you can even watch the recording after the fact. But the selection requirements, you have to be present or someone has to be there in your place. So if you're not able to show up, have them fill out a proxy, get it notarized, give it to that individual, have them bring it with them to the meeting. Do not mail it to us, just get it notarized, hand it over, have them come to the meeting. And what's gonna happen is when we call the name, they'll come up to the table and they'll present it to us at that time. So again, don't mail it to us. Have a valid government issued ID, military ID, passport, state ID, license, and late arrival. Please arrive on time, right? If we call your name and you're not here, then we're gonna pass you. And we may come back to you if there's any lots available. So come early, hang out, just be on time before we start calling the names. Okay, next, please. So again, as I mentioned, we'll have more information in the invitation letter about what that day is gonna look like, but just know that you will actually be signing a lease that day. Now, for those who are proxy, who need somebody to come, they're not gonna sign the lease that day. You're gonna be able to select a project. What we're gonna do is the housing awards team is gonna go back to the office the following week. We're gonna get organized and we will contact the applicants who selected via a proxy. So we will get to you all. We just ask for some patience and because we gotta get back to the office, kind of get our stuff organized. But again, you have questions, you can always give us a call. Next, please. So this is just kind of our flow chart, just to kind of give you an idea of what the process is gonna look like, right? So July 12th, today, orientation meeting, informational meeting. August 18th, that is when your response form is due, right? So drop it off with one of our district offices, mail it into our office. As long as it's postmarked August 18th, we will accept. Anything past that, you are considered late, right? So if we reconsider, you would still be at the bottom, right? So August 18th, deadline. We have forms back here. If you guys aren't, even if you're on the fence, right? You're like, I'm not sure. Just fill one out and say you're interested. Because you can always defer. But if you say no now, that opportunity has passed you already. So it's not gonna hinder your position on the application list if you say you're interested, but choose to defer. So again, September 20th, that's the project selection date. If we call your name, you come to the table, you select the project, you pay your 99 lease rent, and then you sign your lease and you designate a successor. So after the September 20th, we will go on the October HHC agenda. So what we have to do is we have to get the commission approval to issue a new award, right? To issue a lease, we have to go on the agenda. So we will, everyone that selected a project, we'll put you all on agenda for October. We'll get that approval. We have to get our Attorney General's signature. Once that's done, we get the chairman's signature and then we record the lease. So that process, we were hoping it would take maybe 2 to 3 months. It's been taking a little bit longer because of the amount of leases that we've been issuing over the past 6 months, right? We're a little behind at our AG's office, but we are working through the process. And I think I say this after almost every slide, but you have questions, please give us a call. So again, we record the, just record the lease. If you didn't designate your successor that day, you can do so after the fact. You can also then transfer your lease, right? Juan mentioned, once you have a lease in hand, you can transfer it to an eligible beneficiary. Now, you might have heard the term simultaneous transfer, right? Which means the applicant acts as the pass-through, right? You're just the 50%er, you send it to your 25%er. We're not doing simultaneous transfers with this process only because it's faster for you all to get the lease in your hands first and then transfer, right? The simultaneous transfer might take a little bit longer. So what we want to do is we want to get the lease in your hands first as the applicant, and then you can work on the transfer process with the Homestead Services Division after the fact. Okay, next, please. So again, if you're no longer interested, right? So you came through, maybe you saw that we're getting Hana or Pulehunui or some other future ag lots, and you're not interested in these projects, that's fine. You can sign, fill out that you defer. You're not interested, that's a deferral. You can just choose to do nothing. If you don't respond, a no response is an automatic deferral. You can even say you're interested and maybe defer at the selection meeting. But ultimately, in the end, if you choose to defer, it's not going to hurt your position on the list, right? You defer, you remain at that same application date, and you may be eligible for future offers. Next, please. Again, important dates. As I mentioned, August 18th. Please submit your interested form on or by August 18th. And our September 20th date, that's our project lease selection, invitation only, right? You meet the requirements, we invite you to the selection meeting. Next, please. Contact information. So in the back table here, we've got Carol Takeuchi and Erin McCabe. They're the project team for this Maui sub-ag offer. At the registration table, you may have met Moana Freitas, Shanti Gomes, as well as Kawi Stevens. They're actually on the housing team. They can support you all and answer any questions as well. Our contact number, 808-730-0311. And our email address, dhhl.housing@hawaii.gov. So I ask that we do our best to call everyone back at least within 24 to 48 hours. But if not, please just be patient. There's a lot of calls coming in. We're doing a lot of offers right now. Email is always good, only because when you email this address, it goes to all of us. So it goes to every single one of the housing team members. So there will be someone that will answer your message. Okay, next, please. Am I next? Okay, yeah. So we just want to mahalo the partners that are here today. They come here, they have their swag, as they call it. They're here to support our beneficiaries. So we really appreciate them coming out. I believe at project selection, we may have our vendors here again. So thank you guys for assisting. And do I have another one? We're good. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Michelle. Please put your hands together for all of the speakers. A lot of great information. And again, before we adjourn this meeting, we have open house. So there's no Q&A right now. What we are offering is open house. So this is a time that you take all your questions and you go to the resources that have the answers for you. But before we close, it truly takes many hands to build opportunities for our people. So I just wanted to acknowledge we have Commissioner Ornelas from Kauai, who is joining us as well. So she's one of many of our commissioners. And I didn't see, but thank you to the County of Maui, Mayor Bisson, who is in the back. Paipai Kolima, thank you for your support as well. And as well as Governor Green and all of our, state senators, thank you for supporting our beneficiaries here in Maui and throughout Hawaii. So with that, take your questions and go get your answers. And one more comment.
Juan brought this up, so we just wanted to share. When we sent out the letters, we may have sent some out to the family of, right? Because those are deceased applicants. If you are the family of, you can come and visit the Homestead Services Division table. What's going to happen is you still can submit that you're interested, but Juan's team will determine the successorship. So again, something like that, don't just discard and say you're not eligible. Submit the interested forms, and then I'm not sure if Juan wants to share a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Yes, those families that receive letters to the family of, or even those families who have not yet submitted the death certificate of the applicant, it's vital for you, if you want to participate, your family wants to participate in this program, to submit that response form before August 18th. What we need to do is to make certain that that deceased applicant did in fact file a designation, right? So we want to make certain before September comes, that designated successor is qualified to succeed, which will give that individual the opportunity to make that selection to participate and to select either Waiehu Ko or Honokōwai. If you got questions with regards to the death of an applicant, come see us at the table in the back. Again, mahalo, aloha.
And before I forget, thank you to Chair Kali Watson as well, and all of his team over here. And families, you leave us, go safely. God bless all of you. Aloha.